thing I've always believed, and I think this is actually very important dating advice for everybody. When I was young, I used to believe that people should always wait about a year or two to get engaged and then be engaged for about 1 year and then get married. But there are certain things that happen in everybody's relationship, and I think a lot of people know this, but they don't actually take it into an account when they're actually dating. The first year is when you're getting to know the person, right? It really does take a year to get to know somebody. The second year, you know how they always say it's the terrible twos with babies and infants? Well, that actually kind of applies to relationships as well. The second year of a relationship is when a person is finally comfortable with you, fully, and they start showing themselves. And many experts will agree that it's your second year that couples will argue the most. And then your third year is something that nobody has ever talked about the third year, but I have created this. The first year is getting to know somebody. The second year is your comfort, where you start to argue a lot more and really know who the person is. And the third year is where you take the first 2 years, everything that has happened, all your experiences, you put them together, you fully understand the person, the great things from the first year, the negatives in the second year with, some arguing, and the third year is where you actually contemplate and realize all those things, you put them together, you evaluate your relationship, and at this point you fully know the person. You know the person's good side, you know the person's bad side, you know everything about them, desires, dreams, all that important stuff, all the important communication things, it's all been laid out, and you take your third year for that. That's why I believe that a person should not actually get engaged until after their third year, because sometimes surprises can happen after just the second year. Because like I said, that's kind of like you're getting to know somebody fully, and a lot of people tend to argue during their second year, but you need that third year to kind of like settle and then really take in and absorb the person as not just your partner, but as like, this is who my life is with. Because when you say this is my partner, anybody that you're dating is your partner, but the person after the third year isn't just a person who's with you. They almost become you. And there's a lot more to it than that. So I think 3 years of dating in a relationship is important, then 1 more for engagement, and then marriage. So really, I think the minimum that would be the best for people, relationship-wise, and for your mentality and all that kind of stuff, and knowing that you really want to marry that person, is 4 years total. 3 years of dating, 1 year of engagement, and then, of course, marriage. And, of course, that's just a minimum. You can go much longer if you fucking want. But I think as a minimum, to really know the person and be sure so that you don't later on get divorced by something that's going to surprise you, 3 years sounds like a minimum. Weddings. Weddings in general. I am personally against them. I think they're absolutely stupid and fake. Personally, for me, I would be fine with just going to City Hall and signing the papers and be done with it. I do understand that weddings are much more important for girls, and they like to have the dress and all that kind of stuff and have a day for themselves, but you can do all that and simply have a small wedding. If you are going to have a wedding, I think it should be small. First, I'll throw a fact out there. Did you know that statistically, the more money you spend on your wedding, the higher chance you have of getting divorced? There's a fact for you. But let's go on to the more personal things. When people go crazy about their wedding and spending money, like having a $2,000 dress, the big cake, tons of people, a massive dinner, a huge banquet hall, the food and all the little flowers everywhere, and just everything looking beautiful, and the big ring, all this stuff. Here's the main thing about all of it, the wedding and the reception. It's not love. You would think that weddings are meant to be about love, but people don't act like it. I'm not saying that people who get married don't love each other, but I'm just saying that what you're doing is not a representation of love. You don't represent love with a fancy, expensive dress. You don't represent love with food and a banquet hall and your guests and your ring. That's all superficial. It's all material. It's all fake. It means nothing. I can understand having those things, but have it on a small scale. Is there a reason why a wedding dress needs to be $1,000 as opposed to $200? Things like that. Just talk about scales. the more money you spend does not say that you love somebody more. It's all superficial. None of it means love. If you actually understand what love is and the actual definition and meaning of love and the feeling behind it, you would know that none of those things matter. And it's always those women who, you call them bridezillas, right? The bridezilla who is so anal about every little thing, the colors of the suits, the colors of the dresses, this person can't be there, you have these kind of decorations on the table. I always wonder what's up with those women. Why are they like that? Why are bridezillas even a thing? It's just because those particular women are gold diggers. And I genuinely do believe that. I do believe that they are gold diggers. Because anybody who truly understands love and what a wedding and marriage is supposed to be, you wouldn't really care. Like, you can care to an extent, and, nothing wrong with having a nice wedding. But when it's completely overblown and the whole thing is just to have all the attention on you, I have to put your character into it. Are you just a gold digger? Are you just there for the attention? Are you just there to look nice for the pictures? Like, what's your real purpose behind it? Quite frankly, even on a small scale, the whole thing is superficial, but I can at least understand a small scale, because on a small scale, all you're really saying is love is the most important thing, but I do want to have, a party. I want to have fun. But when you're a bridezilla saying, like, $1,000 here, meals are $300, the fucking cake must be $2,000, like, it's all just superficial crap. And that's why I hate, big weddings, and quite frankly, weddings in general, because it's all just a show, is what it really is. It's just a show, and it's meaningless. People who are truly in love wouldn't really care about how big it is, as long as there is something to represent your marriage and your wedding and your reception, but it doesn't have to be completely overblown. I want people to understand that in general, everything, even on a small scale, things like a cake and clothes and stuff like that, it's all superficial. Your love is not represented by a rock on your finger or a cake and things like that. It's completely fake, it's superficial, it means nothing in the long run. And again, let's wrap it up with the stat I gave you earlier. You can even Google it if you don't believe me. It is statistically proven that the more money that is spent on a wedding, the higher your chances are to divorce that person. Which really proves that not only is the wedding reception and all that stuff not a representation of love, but it's actually the total opposite. Let me know what you think.